Hello everybody and welcome to Asheron's Call. I bid you welcome gamers and fellow gaming historians. Today we are going to be handing in our quest, and I did find out where we're supposed to hand it in. Unfortunately it was not where we thought it was, but we found it. On this server he is in the pre-moving location, so you have to take it to Uziz, not to Al Arkas, which is what I thought it might have been, but in the chaos of the event that we wound up having to solo, we couldn't really make that distinction at that time. So here he is at 24.4 degrees south and 28.7 degrees east in Uziz, which is still in the same portal area, but it's a different portal altogether. It's not Al Arkas. So we hand it to him, and he gives us the crystal bow, which unfortunately requires the crystalline ammo. And yeah, we don't have any of that, so we won't be able to use it unless we want to go and get. Wait, well, actually, I suppose we could give him our small shard. I'm sure. Can only fire crystal fragments, which I can make for you if you give me rare crystals. Okay, so if we give him a small shard, I believe we actually get a reasonably high. Yeah. They're bundles of crystal arrows, not. So we would actually need to use quarrel shafts, or arrow shafts for that, which I don't think we actually have at the moment. No, we just have the wrapped bundles. That's fine. That's fine. Everything's fine. So today we're also going to be talking about the things that we meant to talk about last time, and we got horribly sidetracked. And that would be things that they would have to fix if they wanted to bring this game kicking and screaming into the present. Now, remembering this is a game in retrospect, and it is a game that is well over 30 years old at this point. Well, actually, almost 30 years old. Not well over, but well, it's almost there. We're going to need to be buffed again, and that means we are probably going to have to. Yeah, okay. We are not going to be taking any of the items, because those items were just, yeah, weird. The pumpkin buffer should be reappearing here any time now. Remember, the incantations the pumpkin buffer is casting just make us overpowered, which is actually going to be needed, I think, for this next thing that we're going to be doing, and that is we're going to be getting ourselves a good helm. And when I say a good helm, I actually mean a good helm, not a passable helm. So, to be clear, we're going to be going and getting the imbued helm of the Asteliary, assuming that we can hit level 80, because the level requirements have changed. It is required that you are level 80 now. This is fine. It's absolutely fine. However, I have no idea what we do with this event token. Uh, 200 armor level. That will certainly be better than the stuff that we have. Plate mail and braces. 254. You know what? We'll throw on the Amuli coat. An AL 200 Amuli coat is way better than the 100 or so that we were using. So I don't think we need any more buffs from the pumpkin buffer. That's just ridiculous. All right. So One of the first things we're going to do is we're actually going to take... okay, we used all our keys. That's fine. You know what? We're going to go buy some arrows. Assuming we have money. And we might not. Nah. What happens if we give this to a collector? I don't remember. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go... actually, we're going to sell first. Here at the blacksmith. Where's the blacksmith? There's the blacksmith. We're going to sell all our crap. Throw these in here. By the way, the stamps are used for flags. They're house decorations. And we will get to house decorations in the not super distant future. But we're not there yet. Alright, we're going to take these. Put them in there. Nah, that's fine. Alright, coalesced Etheria. That is a quest item, I think. And I have no idea what it does. We're going to sell some stuff at the Archmage and the Jewelers, and then we're going to actually go and do this. We're just going to make a quick run, get some experience. Oh, that needs to go up there. Do you sell bags? No, you don't. Okay. Fair enough. Do you sell bags? You should sell bags. Oh my god, the lag. The lag is real, guys. Okay. So, on to things that need to change in order to bring it up screaming into the current era of gaming. And I think this is actually it's a doable thing. It's a doable thing, and it doesn't necessarily need to... it doesn't need to be complicated, necessarily. But it does need to be thorough, and I think it needs to include at least these things. Because if we're not including these things, we're not doing it properly. So, first up is the spell research. Now, the spell research in this game was particularly egregious. And I do get what they were going for. Before you come at me, I get what they were going for. They wanted it to be difficult to cast those spells that... you know, we're not necessarily supposed to be all that common. I get that. And I appreciate it. At the same time, though, anyone who's played the game knows that several hours to research a single spell is just a little bit overkill. And let's be honest, nobody got time for that these days. Right, especially now. So, you know, when you talk about things that need to change, they drastically need to simplify the research process, or make it costly in a different way. And by no means do I have all the answers as to how exactly that would work, because I don't. I do not know how that would work exactly in terms of balance. I don't know. And if you do, you know, feel free, leave a comment. But I think it's very important to never understate just how important balance is, especially in a game like this. You cannot... Why is that in there? You cannot just say, oh, it'll be fine. Well, yeah, it might be fine. But, on the other hand, it might not be fine. And, if it's not fine, then you're screwed. So, in the broadest sense, they need to reduce the amount of time you would normally spend researching spells. Straight up. They also need to balance, I think, some of the combat aspects of spells. And this is probably the only time I'll say this, but spells are both broken and a pain in the ass in this game, which is probably a saving grace. But similarly, you shouldn't be getting penalized for using your primary attack method. Primary attack methods should be less prone to failure. So when you cast a spell, okay, there's like 3 skill checks involved there, which is a little over the top. There's a skill check to see if you can cast the spell. There's a skill check to see whether you have enough mana after mana conversion or before or whatever. And then there's another skill check to see if the spell even hits, like if the creature resists it or not. And that is way too many checks for a single action. Now again, I don't know how you would balance that because this magic in this game is already broken. But it's not particularly easy for any kind of caster to get anything done at all. And that is probably a mistake. It's probably a mistake. The fact that you need to roll that many checks means the system is probably not optimized in the least, and should probably be looked at. That being said, there's a great deal of improvements that could theoretically be made, and I think that should be looked into. Casting times are usually, or could be theoretically looked at as a way to curb the power of the mage, but honestly, if you increase the casting times any more than they already are, it's just going to make people not cast at all. And that's not what you want. If you put a system in, you want people to use it. So that's not really the way either, as it were. For example, level equivalent player, I managed to kill a mage realistically before he wound up casting the spell that he was going to nuke me with. And he would have had to have used his level 6 or 7, but I hit him 5 or 6 times before he cast his spell, like before he got it off. And I wound up ending the duel before he could finish his spell. Now, neither one of us was spec'd for PvP. We weren't wearing PvP gear. It was just me and that person at our levels. I think they were about 10 levels higher than I was. This is not necessarily a disparaging difference in skill level, but it does kind of highlight just how fast a melee character can be. And I mean, as an archer, I can fly 2 arrows before a mage can get a spell off, and that leaves me free to dodge as well. So it's not really all that balanced, right? Which kind of leads into the combat and balance aspect, right? That also needs to be looked at, and as well, speed of projectiles. It is so ridiculously easy to dodge arrows or spells. In this game, if your raw movement speed is just high enough, some people be like, get good, but it's not really fair when I could fire 3 arrows and then dodge the spell that's been on its way since I loosed my first arrow. Like, that's a little bit broken. Like, look at these side steps, right? They're huge, right? And I take them very quickly because, I have a high movement speed, but, is that necessarily the way? I don't think that it is. I don't think it is. I don't think it should be. Why am I here? I don't know why I came here. I've been so busy talking to you guys. It's okay. It's a longer episode today anyway. We're doing a double episode because we are going to go for the full imbued helm of the Asteliary, which, that'll help. 4 million. Oh, you know what? I remember why I went to the town portal. It's not where I wanted to go, but Tusker. We're gonna go kill some monkeys. We're gonna use our fire arrows, and we're gonna go kill some monkeys. What is that one? 40 or greater, 20, 15. Tusker guards. Okay, you know what? Tusker guards work. We'll take some of those on. But we're going to use our... we're going to leave our fire arrows on the ground. Because we won't be needing them right away. And we are going to make... Oh, son of a bitch. Okay. All of a sudden remembering why that wasn't an option. Okay. Nanner's useful in cooking. A Fletcher's crystal. That'll be nice. Don't think we need it, but... Acid. Tusker spit is used in alchemy, but I'm not going to be gathering any of that, because honestly, we're not going to need it. So because this is going to be a short series, unfortunately, unless, of course, there's huge interest in a renewal, we're basically going to bring ourselves up to a level 80 or 90 respectable point gear-wise, and we're probably going to retire the character, again, unless there is much interest in a revival. And, you know... Well, that's our Explorer set right there, I think. Do we have other ones? Yeah. Okay. So, should we fail in being able to obtain a right and proper set of quest-related gear, and that might happen, we can go and get these letters stamped, and maybe we'll wind up doing that anyway. Who knows? But once you stamp the letters and whatever, you get like a bonded set of armor that doesn't drop on death, which is actually it's pretty nice. Oh, $5,000 amulet. I will take that all day. And we are not going to go overboard. $5,000 staff. We'll absolutely take that. $3,000. Yeah. Nope. Not worth it. Frosty algae. During these periods where I am looking for, valuable items, if I find a decent weapon, I may wind up using that as well in the Infiltrators. Copper knife. Not really interested in that. Don't want that. But so right now we're just looking to push our level up a little bit. Maybe even obtain oh, y'all motherfuckers, come to me. Now, these are by no means the biggest, baddest Tuskers that we could fight. However, they are the easiest to get access to because they have a portal directly in the portal network, which means I can just portal here, come in, kill a whole bunch of monkeys, and wait. Shoot the monkey. Thank you. And you'll notice how they're getting in each other's way, right? So what am I looking for in terms of a weapon that... I mean, that's a nice flaming weapon if I need it, but I don't think I will. Ooh, Ouija legs. Not necessarily the worst thing. Oh my god. I just want a basic bitch sword. Why am I looking for a sword? Because swords tend to do pretty generic damage. They do good damage, which is important. Yeah, I don't think we got anything. That's fine. It's fine. Oh, that's a good 7 points of attack. No, 10, sorry. 7 points of defense. That's actually some pretty decent plate mail gauntlets. 78. We got 2 more levels to go. That should be a tusk. Yes, it is. Thank you. Yeah, I gotta wait 2 hours before I could do that again. So the Tusk item is a hand-in. I can get a title and... Right, so things that would need to improve. Yeah, so, you know, there's the projectile combat. Although one thing I do hope that they would keep is the fact that, you know, projectiles travel a straight line. And if you're not in that straight line anymore, they don't hit you, which is, you know, kind of realistic. You know, I've watched fireballs in WoW curve around a corner. It's absolutely insane how they thought that was a good idea. But, you know, here we are. Ooh, that's a mana, that's a XP hand in. Am I seriously gonna have to... I mean, shit, at this point, you know, while sword optimal will take almost anything at this point. But yeah, I've seen fireballs curve around a corner in WoW, and it's just, it really ruins the immersion. You know what? Regular damage better than nothing at all. We'll take the Jitte. Is there wield requirements on that? Nah. Okay. Perfect. We might be getting disconnected here, guys. Oh. Nope. Alright. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we take some of these to the collector, and I think we need 9 of these letters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 2 more just because. Just because it's a safety thing. And I think we're going to hand the red letters in first. Ooh. Oops. Okay. That was absolutely not what I wanted to do. However, we do still have 10 gold letters, which is fine. Or no, we have 9 gold letters. This is fine, though. So the reason I was trying to drop them was to get them out of my pack, because it seems like you automatically hand in 10. So I was trying to avoid that. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Go. There we go. 5 million experience right there. See, we got 155 million experience for that. We are level 83. And this is absolutely ridiculous. We're going to raise our focus. And ourselves. This will allow us to resist magic easier. And we're just going to have a quick boo at magic defense, which is somewhere up here. Magic defense. Yeah, so we're sitting at like 2 something. Magic defense. That's fine. Yeah, 204 base, which is absolutely fine. We have a 3000. I don't know how. But basically, we should not be afraid of resisting or not resisting anything that this game throws at us for right now. Which is perfect, because we are now going to the Southern Infiltrator Keep, which is a Kayaban trip. And I believe... yeah. Okay. So we just got to take the Kayaban portal. So why am I so worried about the pumpkin buffer? The pumpkin buffer is allowing us to do things real sloppy. I'm not gonna lie. We've been very sloppy in the maintenance of our skills thus far. I mean, we're not doing badly, but we do still want those basic incantations. Hey. Focus, coordination, armor. No, I don't want armor. You just cast coordination. Oh my god. Alright. Fire. Armor. Cold. Lightning. Willpower. Yo, strength. My guy. Okay, there we go. I just don't want the strength to run out and become burdened and useless in combat. Okay, so Zarabundant. That's Annex. That is not what I want. Iron Biker. Zarabundant. No, wait. Is it? No, we want Kayaban. Where's Kayaban? Kayaban. All right. So we've talked about the the combat. I think it's time to stop bragging on that. Let's talk about the skills balance. I mean, it matters more in combat generally, but there is... the hell is that? I don't know. It dies. Alright. Well, it was an ancient Nehemiah. Must have slept too long. There it is. Is it just me, or does that look like a mummy to anyone else? What in the hell? That's grim. Ooh. That's an XP item. Ooh, silver rats. Interesting. Not really interesting enough for us to stop and fight them. Zombie head. Make a mask out of that. Okay. So yeah. This is the keep that we need to go. Yeah. And it says it's level 25 or greater. I don't know what's up, guys. Depending on what's in here, we might just cakewalk this. If we take every right hand option... you know what? Straight. Okay, we just go straight until we hit stairs. and then we can start taking right-hand options. So that's the exit. This is where we need to go. So let's talk about you know, skills and balance and everything. You know, skill performance is like all over the place, and it's largely due to the fact that there's, first and foremost, so many calculations that happen in such a short time. But you know, it's also you know, some of the skills are not as useful as maybe they could be. You know, there's such large gaps between between what you can make that's useful and, you know, just everything else. And there is a what? Okay. All right. We'll take that too. I don't know what these drudge fight gems are for, but maybe we can sell them. Wait a minute. Okay. We start taking right-hand options. Hey. Oi! So, like, take, for example, fletching. There's not much going on there. Even when... Oh, nice. Okay, that'll be good. So, why did we want to take the Flambergay? The short answer is, if our bow is ineffective against the Master, which it might actually be, we are probably going to want to have some other means of attacking it at our disposal. And since I don't believe it actually has elemental weaknesses, having just a plain Jane weapon will be nice. Now, because of the ridiculous bump in stats that we got from the pumpkin buffer, I have no illusions that this is going to be anything other than a one-sided fight. Honestly, I don't know how to get around that. You know what? $5,000 still good. I'll take it. But yeah, it's going to be a one-sided fight. I'm already aware of that. And look, it's everyone's favorite wannabes. Ow! Okay, so take note, even though we have, like, ridiculous buffs, these guys still actually hurt. Which is most of the reason that I really didn't want to come in here without some of those buffs. We go right. We do not go right. Alright, so these guys are basically fake people, created by a race called the Verindi. Verindi are tricksy, and we don't like them. But yeah, you know, as far as being all over the place, there's just something that isn't quite right about how the stats or the skills are staggered, and how they are increased organically. If you're going to have a fairly organic experience, you do want your player base to be able to use the systems as intended. Let's be honest. I think shooting something at higher levels with a bow, you get like 1 experience, if that, anytime you fire your bow, which is great for the first couple levels, but it does not scale well. So, you know, I know that the experience is supposed to be residual, but, you know, and it scales that way for every skill too. Like, I think there should be a level bracket, like a scaling system where, you know, yeah, you're not getting a ton of experience, but you know, there's something going on there instead of just nothing. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe someone could find a way to make that work. I don't know how you would make that work, but I just think the experience gained for using your skills could and should be a little better than it is. And you know, that's all I'm saying, right? I think there needs to be other things that are worked out too when it comes to skills, because the honest to God truth is, some of the skills are just broken. Like, life magic is unironically the strongest magic in the game. It not only allows you to protect yourself, but because drains are calculated differently. Did I take a wrong turn? I did. Okay. We're just going to stand up here for a second. I know I have to go down, so there is a couple of downs, and I'm pretty sure that's the one. Okay, we're going to go down the... Which way is north? Okay. So we're going to go down the south door, because there should only be one in either room. Yeah, okay, so that's south. And it should go straight down. And there should be one. Yeah, okay. This is where we went wrong. Did I do this wrong? I don't think I did this wrong. Nope, I didn't do this wrong. But you see where these are all twisty, turny, mazy dungeons, and you know, this is something I think they need to keep, because this game was built on the premise of exploration. It should absolutely keep the roots of, you know, exploring. That being said, oh, there's our helm. A $21,000 self bracelet. Yeah, I'll take that. Coalesced mana, we'll take that too. Okay, and that is the southern Infiltrator Keep. Took us 20 minutes. Yeah, so there's also the skill credit progression, which is severely lacking, I find. The skill credits don't come often enough to really make a difference at the higher levels. Basically, the way we used to look at it, especially in the old days, was at level 50 you stop developing new skills. You save any points you get for specs later, because there's just no point. And while I understand that, it feels bad to have an artificial cap of that nature. It's just not conducive to the fun, as it were. So I would say that skill credits, I wouldn't necessarily say that you need a ton more skill credits, but I would say that the point where you get them at every 5 levels needs to be pushed back, and of course the point where that you get them every 10 levels, that also needs to be pushed back. And I would say that the windows where you get them like every 2 levels and every 3 levels needs to be extended. I wouldn't necessarily say that you need 1 skill point per level any farther than level 10, but I would say that the every other and every 3 levels windows need to be wider, because you can shoot right past that 2 and 3 level window and not even really realize it. And they're pretty crucial parts of the game. Like, you need to be able to adapt to not getting points every level. I know I've shot right through the every 3 levels bracket on a couple of occasions, because I think there's only like 3 levels or something like that actually use it. It needs to be extended, right? This will, of course, increase the amount of skill points that you do get, but I think it will make developing new skills last longer into the mid and even the later part of the mid game, instead of just, being a levels 1 to 30 thing, because really after level 30 you don't develop new skills. You don't buy new skills. You don't use your skill credits other than to specialize. It's not really the way, I don't think. And I think we need to bring that back, because more customization is actually a good thing. One of the things that this game did really well was the anti-cookie cutter philosophy. There was nothing that was better or worse, strictly speaking, than others. Yes, swords did less damage, but they were among the fastest weapons, which means you hit with them more often. Your DPS was similar to that of an axe user or a spear user or anything else. The weapons were pretty balanced, and I think that balance is pretty sweet right where it is. Like, it doesn't need to be fixed anymore. But of course, with the more skill credits, you also have something else to spend your XP on, right? And the experience system is good, but it's a prototype. We know from experience with other games that have similar kinds of builds, having a robust system where your skills earn you experience, as well as being able to advance them with general experience, it works better when you're getting more experience on the usage of the skill, right? General experience is great too, but I think more of that experience needs to go into, like, there needs to be more of a generation on the skill itself rather than just general experience, right? I'm not going to be able to really show you this last point. And it's 3 different points. And buckle up, because they're doozies. The housing crisis that is Asheron's Call. In the early days of Asheron's Call, the housing was pretty much second to none. I mean, they were among those that pioneered it. So, there wasn't much that could be said about it. However, we have seen improvements on multiple fronts, and I think that housing is one of those things that needs to be looked at, not just as a, this sucks. It doesn't suck. Well, it does kind of. but it didn't suck when it came out. And I think people need to remember that. It did not suck when it came out. The truth of the matter is, yes, the system does need to be refined, and yes, there is always room for improvement on any system. The initial purchasing cost of housing in Dareth is not the worst that I've ever seen. 750,000. I mean, that's pretty close to a cost of a house in real life, right? Right? Nah, it's probably not. I mean, it's probably more than that now. But, you know, at the time, it was a fairly realistic, or pseudo-realistic look at the cost of housing. However, the rental cost, or shall we call it the property tax, I guess, that leaves something to be desired. You know, not so much on the apartment or cottage end, cottages being the very basic kind of housing in Asheron's Call, but more so on the end of the stick, where it's like, you know, why am I still paying a writ of refuge and we'll touch on that in a second, but why are we paying a writ of refuge just to be able to buy a house, and then having to spend a writ of refuge every month to keep that house? I don't think writs of refuge should be used as... Is this one purchased? It's not. Okay. So I'll show you what I'm talking about, okay? So if we were to go and interact with this crystal right here, and we can, I need 300... Oh, it's 300,000 pyreals, an armadillo spine, a bronze armadillo spine, and a writ of refuge. I don't have a writ of refuge, and I do not have a spine. Nor do I have $300,000 yet. This one should be the same. Yeah, these are all the same because they're the same settlement. Looks like nobody owns these. Any of these. Huh. I like this one. This one's kind of nice. Anyway. So, you know, you have to get all those items together. You have to pay them all at once. And then you immediately have to spend, I think it's 30,000 gold. Or 30,000 in trade notes. Just to keep your house. Right? And I think that's a little steep. Right? Although the 30,000, if it wasn't an immediate debt thing, like an immediate thing that you had to pay like right now, it would be okay. But the fact that you have to pay it again makes it a little overkill. Like, there's no reason for it. And I get it. Oh, hello. Holtberg is saved once more. Interesting. Didn't realize it was in trouble. But, you know. Oh, hey. Excuse me. 24.9, 17.5. Whoa. So there should be a portal over here somewhere. 17.5. Oh. Oh, I'm looking at... Oh, hell. Okay. Yeah, no, that, yeah, no, that tracks. Alright, guys. I went the wrong way. Apparently I need to be going way north of here. I took the stupid route. I was looking at two different sets of coordinates and mashing them together. It happens. Sandstone golem. find it funny that you can jump higher than you can fall from. So, you know, housing costs themselves are, you know, they're one thing. But let's talk about what you get for that. And sometimes it's not much. If I find a chest in a dungeon here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. And even if I can't, I know of a dungeon that has one that we've already been to. It'll be real easy to go ahead and get to that dungeon again. So if it comes down to that, we'll just go that way. So houses work on a thing called hooks. On our way back, if time permits, or if the ability permits, we'll look at those houses that we were just at, and we'll see. Well, I'll be able to tell you a little bit more about it if it allows me to show you it. However, if it doesn't, that's fine too. But they work on a system called hooks. So basically, if you have like a piece of furniture, you can put it on a floor hook, and that floor hook will center the couch, and you don't get to change how it's how it's pointing or how it's arranged. You just get to tell it to put it in a hook, and it will use a predetermined. Actually, let's see if any of these houses are open. Yeah, sure. Oh, good, and we can see the hooks here. Some people are in a hurry to die. Anyway, so this is a hook. This is also a hook. This is a hook. Wall hooks. Ceiling hooks. You can hang stuff from the ceilings. Surprising absolutely no one. There is hanging decorations. That's not I mean, honestly, it's kind of well done. Right? And this is your standard basement. One storage chest. Which is absolutely empty. Okay, yeah, it doesn't... if we see a chest in a dungeon, we'll show you. Is that an owned house? No, it's not. Okay. Okay. Oh, hello. What's this? Huh. Okay. We were going north. 17.5. We'll need to go a little bit west. That's okay. Right. We can't use the chest because we don't own the house. Surprising absolutely no one, right? Can we head up this way? Yes, we can. Okay. Okay, I think... Okay. 17.4. I need to go a little bit east, but it should be right along this line. I actually recognize this ridge. I think I came here once, but I don't think I ever actually... I might have finished it. The Asteliary. Yay, we made it. So anyway, returning to those hooks. The hooks allow you to put furniture, trophies, that sort of thing on display. The sad part is, though, they were tragically underutilized in that you could only use like a fraction of them at any given time. And it was so sad. Alright, so we go through, just follow it straight until we actually have to make a choice. Okay. That seems simple. Follow it through until we have to make a choice. Oh. Raveners. I will absolutely... Yes. Alright. Ravener Guts. Yes, please. We will take more Ravener Guts. Don't need more 6. Why are we taking the Guts? Because if we wanted to make ourselves one of the best bows in the game, we will need Ravener Guts. And I believe actually a fair amount of them, but okay. Wait. Was I required to make a choice here? No. This was an optional choice. There. That's our choice point. These things used to be absolutely terrifying. I suppose if you were playing on a standard server, they would still be terrifying. Just saying. Give me a second. I will. So we want to go left and then left again. Left and then left again. Speaking of combat things, or housing. Housing ties into combat too, because nothing can really hurt you when you're inside your house. But, you know, that could be cheesed a little bit. I do understand where it's, you know, because you're out in the wilderness, you want to keep players safe from the monsters. That was, after all, the entire point of the housing, was to protect the player base. Okay, so from the stairs, which were... Okay, from the stairs, we go left, and then we go... Or we go right, then we go left, then we go left again, and then I believe we go right down here. Not sure why this one's not attacking, but yeah, I'll take that all day. We just go straight through and either left or right, and then follow that choice, or go opposite that choice when we get the okay. Okay. Oh, you know what? We haven't used any of our summons, which is kind of funny. And then we turn up. Okay, so we want to loot the crafter. There's an orb. It's an excellent caster item. The shard. And the gem. Okay. We can leave now. So the thing about the hooks is you can only use like half of them, right, in any given house, which is kind of dumb, right? It's like you give me 100 hooks, but I can only use like 30 of them, 40 of them. Why? You know, especially when like it seemed like a quarter of them were on the roof or on the floor, and there was very few yard hooks, right? They weren't well distributed. That would have to be fixed if you were going to bring this game kicking and screaming. You know, come on. Now the other thing is, we are going to go. We're actually going to go to. We're going to head back to the main town because there is something else that I wanted to show you. Something that I cannot show you easily, but you'll understand once I, get to where I'm trying to go to. Actually, there might be a chest in here that might be appropriate. Is there still? Yes, there is. Okay. So this is the standard layout of a chest. I know we've gone into a couple chests before, but I've never really explained anything. So this is the contents of the currently selected container, which in this case is the chest. These up here, though, are container slots. So if you were to... I don't want to do this with my main... do you sell containers? You do. Give me one of those. Actually, give me 2 of those. Okay. So if you were to drag this, right? So you could switch between them. This is the main chest. This is the backpack in the chest. But the thing is, these had really limited slots. Like, I think there's only 24 in that. The chest has 48, or something like that. Like, it has almost limitless space. But in the packs, there was very limited space. It's one of the two. I think it's the other way around for the housing chest. That being said, there's only one pack slot, like one bag slot in a house chest. But in a chest like this, that's out in the world, just average everyday chest, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 bag slots, plus the main chest. That is ludicrous. But it's appropriate if you have 10 characters feeding off the same, off the same chest. Like, oh look, that's another player. Alia the Geist, or Alia Geist? I don't know. So, when you're getting down to brass tacks, right? Like, why are you... I'm not sure why this is picking things up in my non-main pack. Oh, I see. My main pack is full. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. We're gonna move all the fun stuff into this pack here. Mostly because we don't understand, or we don't know what the fun stuff is going to be. Put some food in there, some quest item in there, more fun stuff, quest item, quest item. More quest stuff, more quest stuff, more quest stuff, more quest stuff. Yeah, we'll organize that later. You know, with such limited storage options for, you know, needing to switch things around for characters, it's not the greatest system. Like there would need to be more storage, especially if you're paying 30,000 pyreals every month. Like, yeah, pyreals are not hard to come by, but you know, 10 people are using the house, or up to 10 people are using the house by default. More than one pack spot, it's appreciated. And the other thing is, it's not like you could even put down a second storage chest. You were limited to one. Like, it'd be one thing if you could spend like even 500,000 pyreals, or like 1,000,000 pyreals, or 5,000,000 pyreals, and buy another house storage. That would be one thing. But you can't. Right? So options need to be there. Now, of course, I have thus far overlooked entirely the glaringly obvious, and I will say this: I didn't think that I needed to put the graphics on the list. Yes, they are good for what they were. You know, 12 polygons or whatever, 12 polygon count, I don't know what it is. They were good for what they were. But that time is long over. It's come and gone. If this game were to even attempt to make a comeback in the current day, it would absolutely have to contend with other big name games in the same genre. And I think that while this game could compete on a, you know, technical level, I do believe that it would need to have a graphical update. We're probably looking at the very barest of bare minimums. We're looking at Unreal 4 in today's day and age, obviously, at the very minimum, and upgraded textures to match, right? Do I think they should? I absolutely do. I do. This game is a lot of fun, and I think that, you know, even if you take away all the things that did contribute to the industry in its time, I believe that it's worthy of a remake. But it has to be a proper remake, and it would have to be true to the original game, right? So this really unique and sometimes quirky skill leveling system absolutely would have to stay, right? It's not something that would be optional. It would have to be present. You know, if you're looking at things that, you know, again, have to come back, it would be the variety of monsters. There was a huge variety of monsters that you could hunt. This game had a lot of monsters unique totally to it, and I liked that. You know, it's not just goblin, rogue, elf, orc. You know, everything in here is unique, and I think that's something special, and I think it should come back, right? You know, I don't know if I would bring back the pay-to-play model, particularly because, you know, nothing's really pay-to-play. It's buy it and you get to play it, right? They rely on sales. This had a totally different model back in the 90s, and that would need to change, obviously. But I do believe that there's like thousands of hours of content to be had here. I think that it would be, I think that you could, if you were to remaster this game, you could charge like upwards of $60, and I believe people would pay it. I believe they would. You know, I think people would play this. It's one of the most unique games from that era, and it still has some systems that are pretty unique to it. And I think this could be one of those games that could be revived successfully. Now, again, like I said before, it would have to be a faithful remake. You know, and I think that the one thing that absolutely set it apart that would need to remain, even if they changed everything else, or almost everything else, one thing that they would have to keep would be the live service. That is what made this game. You know, new story arc every month, and little bits of it, you know, once a month for 4 months, or once a week for 4 weeks, and then the story arc resolves or moves forward into its next phase. And I believe that, you know, that would have to stay, because it's something that was very unique, and it's even pretty rare today, even. You know, but, you know, the most successful games do have that, right? Like, look at what happened to us. We logged into Holtberg, right here. There was an event, and we needed somebody to come smash it because we weren't prepared. Like, we were not ready. We tried to hand in this other thing, and there was an invasion in the town we tried to hand it in, and we had to smash it that time. Thankfully, we were bigger now. We had grown up more, but, you know, we had to go and smash that one. Right? And then, while we were talking, there was another invasion. Now, I don't know the story arc right now that's going on, because I haven't looked at any notes or anything else like that, but this is what made this game unique. You could log on yesterday, town's totally chill, you log out in total safety. Maybe you weren't all the way buffed up, but, you know, you were safe, you were in town. You log into town and there's ninjas on your ass. Literally, I had it happen. Okay, I logged in the middle of an active event, and there was ninjas attacking the town that I had logged out in the night before. And this was an actual live event to do with the arena, you know, but it keeps the game fresh. It keeps it moving forward, right? And the last thing I think they would need to revamp is some of the experience progression. Not just the skill credits. Like, the skill credits would need to be revamped too, but experience progression. There's far too many creatures at each bracket, but each bracket is so staggered, you spend a ton of time in the same dungeon, grinding out levels again and again and again. That is one thing that we haven't had to do in this playthrough because of the server that we're playing on. But they fixed that with a mod that allows you to get 10 times experience and quest hand-ins. We would still very much be at level 30 or 40 at this point, going through the newbie quests and not smashing righteously through the Asteliary to get a really cool helm, which we are going to do right now. So this gem, this one in the middle, can be used on either the orb or the helm. We're going to use it on the helm to give ourselves a really smoking hot helm. Like, this thing is so hot, it's stolen. This one comes with a full set of level 7s, or at least it should. Oh, it does not, for some reason. Question mark? Weird. Okay. It appears that some quests in this server are reverted to a previous state because this was updated to give you 7s. Whatever. Invuln 5, Impreg 5, Magic Resist 5, Impen 5 is still pretty sweet. Like, that's the average. That's the standard. Right? If you have to have non-7s on a piece of gear, this is absolutely something that would be appropriate. You know, and it has some pretty nice resistances as well. Right? But yeah. I wonder, did we just botch our helm or? Nah. Okay. So I think it comes with like the melee defense and missile defense, but it gains the magic defense as well when you imbue it. Much like this one will gain. This one will gain. I think Aura of Aromatic Link or something like that. It's the one that increases the magic mana conversion. Like, it's a pretty good orb when you imbue it. But we could use this to cast with now if we wanted to, right? But this is our endgame helm. At least for this character. For this playthrough. Right? We got our helm. We're looking good. I think that is where we're going to call it, though. But I would like to say that, you know, as you know, I think in this age of remakes, this game deserves a look. Honestly. I think there's a lot of potential here. I think there's a lot of people that would play it. And I think that we're sitting on a gem that was so far ahead of its time that it needs a remake just to be relevant in its own time. So, you know, there is that. We got a couple of dungeons done today. We, you know, we finished up the helm. We're looking good. Can we zoom in there? I don't remember. Oh. There we go. Look at the detail on that. It's actually some pretty good detail when you zoom up in on it. Right? Look at that. It's such a good looking helm. But that's gonna do it for today, guys. You know, drop me a like and a subscribe if you like what I'm doing with the channel and what with you know, Retro 11 in general. It's not always going to be about Asheron's Call, but you know, certainly it will have its time in the sun here. And just as we log out here, we are going to throw our crystal bow on, just as a, you know, we did this. There we go. So that's going to do it for today. Y'all take care of yourselves, and until next time, don't let the Tuskers smash you. Bye-bye.